Imagine a world where happiness is no longer a fleeting feeling, but a simple choice you make every morning. By the year 2074, that world had become a reality. This wasn't the stuff of science fiction. It was the age of emotional convenience, and its cornerstone was a tiny pill called Synthismil. Marketed as the world's first scientifically engineered happiness enhancer, Synthismil wasn't some back-alley drug. It was legal, safe, and even recommended by top wellness professionals. It promised to smooth out the rough edges of your day, gently boosting your brain's natural wellness signals to take the edge off stress and anxiety. For millions, it became as routine as a morning coffee, a simple way to optimize your mood and face the day with a clear, calm mind. But in 2074, this beacon of modern wellness found itself at the heart of the most explosive and controversial trial in history. It all started when a small, determined group of citizens filed a lawsuit against Bright Life Therapeutics, the corporation behind Synthismil. Their claim wasn't that the pill was dangerous or addictive. The chemistry was harmless. The problem, they argued, was far more subtle and far more sinister. It wasn't about what the pill did to your brain. It was about what the system behind the pill was doing with your feelings. You see, every Synthismil pill was connected to a companion cloud system. Its stated purpose was simple: to monitor your emotional patterns and fine-tune your supplement recommendations for peak wellness. But the lawsuit alleged that Bright Life had crossed an invisible line, a line humanity never even knew existed. The prosecutors laid out a chilling case. They argued that Bright Life Therapeutics wasn't just helping people feel better. They were secretly analyzing population-wide emotional trends. Using this vast ocean of data, they could create subtle pattern suggestions to influence how entire communities responded to news, advertisements, and even political events. The company, of course, denied everything. They insisted these features were only in place to prevent severe stress spikes and promote public well-being. But then came the leak. A series of internal emails surfaced, revealing conversations among Bright Life executives about using this aggregated mood data to forecast consumer behavior and, more alarmingly, to optimize public stability during major social or political events. The pill wasn't changing what you felt, but the data was giving corporations the power to predict and subtly guide it. The trial quickly escalated into the biggest legal and ethical debate of the decade. The courtroom became a battleground, pitting wellness advocates against privacy experts, neuroscientists against digital ethics lawyers. One shocking revelation followed another. It turned out that governments in several countries had quietly partnered with Bright Life, gaining access to anonymized emotion analytics to manage public sentiment during periods of social tension. They argued it was responsible crisis management. Using the data, they could craft public messages, adjusting the tone, timing, and wording to keep societal stress levels low and prevent panic. Critics, on the other hand, called it what it was: emotional engineering on a mass scale. They painted a picture of a society where dissent could be soothed into submission before it ever truly began, not with force, but with carefully calibrated public relations campaigns driven by real-time emotional feedback. One expert witness delivered a powerful analogy that resonated across the globe. He compared Bright Life's system to weather forecasting for feelings. It was an incredible scientific achievement, but he warned that such predictive power could easily be abused. What if a future administration wasn't just interested in keeping people calm, but in actively shaping their opinions? If you can predict how a population will feel, you can learn how to make them feel what you want them to feel. Testimony after testimony revealed a startling truth. The Synthismil pill didn't change who people were. It didn't force emotions or rewrite personalities. But the data system behind it gave governments and corporations a godlike ability to predict emotional outcomes with terrifying precision. It was a new kind of power, one that didn't need to break down doors or read private messages. It simply read the room, the emotional room of an entire nation. The turning point in the trial came with the arrival of a whistleblower. A former Bright Life data scientist, she came forward with evidence that was nothing short of staggering. She provided recordings of BrightLife's internal AI system running simulations. These weren't financial models or logistical plans. They were simulations of how entire cities would emotionally react to major announcements, like a new law, a national tragedy, or an economic crash. The AI could predict, with stunning accuracy, the collective emotional arc of millions of people, using nothing but the anonymized metadata from Synthesmo users. Again, the system itself caused no direct harm. It didn't force anyone to feel happy or sad, but the ethical implications were seismic. Humanity had built a tool that could see into the collective heart of society. The court was now faced with an unprecedented question. Did a happiness supplement, paired with a sophisticated emotional analytics platform, violate the fundamental right to emotional autonomy? Even if you weren't being manipulated directly, was the very act of being monitored and modeled on such an intimate level a violation of your freedom? The world held its breath as the judges deliberated. After 6 grueling months, the verdict came down, and it would change global policy forever. Synthesmo, the pill itself, was allowed to remain on the market. It was, after all, a safe and effective wellness product. But the emotional data system behind it was ordered to be shut down immediately. In its place, a new legal framework was born, the Authentic Emotion Act. This landmark legislation guaranteed that future wellness technologies could never again track, store, or model human emotion without explicit, transparent, and ongoing consent from the user. The case of Synthesmo exposed a new kind of crime, not a chemical one, not a physical one, but an ethical one. A crime of crossing a boundary that society never even realized was there to be protected. The courtroom emptied, the news cycle moved on, and people continued to seek ways to better their lives. But a profound and unsettling question lingered long after the verdict was read. If happiness can be monitored so precisely, if our feelings can be forecasted like the rain, how long will it be until someone learns not just to predict our emotions, but to guide them? And when that day comes, will we even notice? Thanks for watching. If you found this story thought-provoking, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next dive into the future. Let me know in the comments what you think about the ethics of emotional analytics. Until next time.